Everyone heard the order, but no one expected her to smile. And when she did, the entire base went silent, as if the wind itself knew the commander had crossed a line he shouldn't have. Colonel Reeves stood stiff under the bright noon sun, the desert heat shimmering around him like a warning. Before him, Lieutenant Mara Hale, quiet, disciplined, respected by every enlisted soldier, stared back with steady eyes. Reeves jabbed a finger at her chest and barked, "Take off your uniform. You're done here." His voice echoed across the training yard, drawing soldiers to the windows, to the doorways, to any place where they could witness what felt like a storm cracking open. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Reeves expected her to break, or bow her head, or plead. That's what he wanted, a public display of power. But instead, Mara smirked, just a faint curl of confidence, but enough to make several privates gasp, because no one smirked at Reeves. Not unless they knew something he didn't. Inside, her heart thudded. She felt a fine layer of dust settle on her boots as the wind picked up, brushing her cheek like a reminder that everything she fought for wasn't going to disappear because of one corrupt man. Reeves had been trying to push her out for months, ever since she reported the missing equipment that went unexplained under his command. Ever since she refused to sign her silence. The smirk wasn't disrespect. It was the moment she decided not to run anymore. Reeves stepped closer, whispering so only she could hear, "You don't know what you've just done." Mara thought she'd never hear that tone from him again. She was wrong. A few soldiers shifted uneasily, glancing at one another. One sergeant muttered, "Why is he so desperate to get rid of her?" Another replied, "Maybe she knows too much." The uncertainty spread through the ranks like electricity, making the air feel hotter, heavier. Mara unfastened her jacket slowly, deliberately, not out of obedience, but out of challenge. Dust swirled at her feet, as if even the ground held its breath. Reeves smirked back, convinced he had finally forced her surrender. Then the gate alarm blared. A convoy rolled in, armored gleaming under the blinding sun. Soldiers in crisp uniforms stepped out with synchronized precision. At their front was General Lorraine Cutter, retired legend, the kind of officer cadets still quoted in leadership classes. The crowd rippled. No one had seen her on base in years. Reeves paled. Cutter walked with a cane, but every step struck the concrete with purpose. She scanned the yard, her gaze sharp enough to slice through the tension, and stopped directly between Reeves and Mara. "Lieutenant," she said, her voice warm, steady. "You called." Reeves spun toward her. "General, she had no authority to." Cutter raised a hand. Silence fell instantly. "I received documents," she continued. "Evidence of misconduct, theft, threats." She lifted a folder that looked too thin to destroy a man's career, yet everyone knew it could. "All traced back to you, Colonel Reeves." The murmurs swelled. Soldiers stepped out of the shadows, out of the hallways, filling the yard with a wave of bodies and disbelief. Mara felt her hands tremble, but not with fear, with relief. With justice finally catching up, Reeves lunged for the folder, but half a dozen MPs closed in, their boots hitting the ground in synchronized thuds. For a moment Reeves struggled, then his shoulders sagged. He looked at Mara as the handcuffs clicked around his wrists. "You just ruined your life," he hissed. Mara shook her head. "No, I saved everyone else from you." As he was led away, the entire yard exhaled. Someone clapped, then another, and then the applause spread until it became a roar under the bright, merciless sun. General Cutter placed a hand on Mara's shoulder. "You kept your integrity," she said. "That uniform belongs to you. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And sometimes it returns under the open sky, at the very moment someone thinks they've stripped you of everything." If this story moved you, leave a comment and subscribe. Your support helps these stories reach more good people like you.